The Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney, Iowa is the place to be this 4th of July, as they'll be hosting their annual 4th of July Truck and Tractor Pull, starting at 6:30 p.m. in conjunction with ECI Pullers Association and Twin States Pulling Association, powered by Champion Seed. And as always, there will be fireworks at dark. Spend your 4th of July evening in Sigourney, Iowa at the Keokuk County Expo with the Truck and Tractor Pull at 6:30. Hope to see you there. The Delta Fireman's Ball is Saturday, July 27th. You can enjoy food, live music, games, and more. There will be a poker run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Keith Davis will be playing music from 6 to 9 p.m. For more information on the Delta Fireman's Ball, contact Jim or Fake Harry at 319-212-8772. The Delta Fireman's Ball is coming up Saturday, July 27th. Don't miss it. At Kaboom Fireworks, we love family, freedom, and fireworks. On top of our rock bottom prices, we have Black Cat, Brothers, Sky Bacon, Fox, Takeo, and others, with everything from sparklers, parachutes, and snakes to fountains and cakes. Did we mention finales? Up to 1,000 grams. There's something for everyone at Kaboom Fireworks, with the best selection at the most affordable prices, where we cherish family, freedom, and fireworks. Open daily through July 4th, located downtown Wachue.
We are the podcast by the fans, for the fans, here talking all things pro wrestling, and today we've got a great episode. Gentlemen, let me just ask you, I'm going to throw this out there. The title of the show, is this door still forbidden? Is it still forbidden after 3 years?
So, go ahead. Guess first. Okay. So, as I kind of jokingly called it, I called it the not so forbidden door. I will start out by saying I thought this was an excellent professional wrestling show. But what I felt this show lacked was the pop, the OMG moment of the previous Forbidden Doors. I mean, last year, obviously, you had the Omega Ospreay match. You had the Danielson Okada match. Right off the top, the biggest problem that you have with Forbidden Door in 2024, you took the two biggest stars from last year's Forbidden Door and you signed them to an AEW contract. So those doors are no longer forbidden. And we'll get into this. I'll touch on it here, but we'll probably get into it more later. Right now, and I think this show kind of showed it, the New Japan roster depth just isn't there. There's no big star. I mean, you had Naito on this show, but I mean, you had Tanahashi, and we'll get into that. So I'm going to save my comments for that. But yeah, I think your biggest problem with why is this door maybe not so forbidden is you just didn't have the OMG moment. Because you didn't have that dream match that you had in previous years.
Yeah, I want to give AEW its flowers. I really rail on them from time to time on this show, but from top to bottom, front to back, start to finish, this was a fun show. I think it's their best pay-per-view they put out this year. Now, the title's a little hokey now that the talent from Japan is all mostly in AEW and that the talent pool in Japan's a little bit smaller. But outside of, Forbidden Door, top to bottom, this show was excellent. I had a lot of fun watching it. I can just think of one match off the top of my head that, looking back on it, was kind of a stinker. But other than that, this show was entertaining. It was fun. It didn't have the Ospreay Omega from last year, like Tim said. So it lacked that. It lacked that match everybody was walking away with saying match of the year. However, I do think if Ospreay and Danielson hasn't happened yet, we'd be talking about Ospreay and Swerve right now and how good of a match that was. If you take away Ospreay and Bryan Danielson from earlier this year, and in the special match that was, because to me, clearly that's match of the year right now. we would be talking about Swerve and Ospreay, because I think, as an outsider looking in, I kind of had my expectations tempered for this match. But in my opinion, it exceeded my expectations. It really told a great story, and it ended up being a fantastic match. And like I said, if it wasn't for Danielson Ospreay, I think we'd be talking about this match as match of the year in AEW.
Do we want to start with the main event? Because I think that's a great place to start there, Nick. What do you say, CZ?
Yeah, let's go
absolutely.
for it.
Let's do it.
Honestly, like you said, I'm going to say it right now. The Bryan Danielson Ospreay match and the Swerve Ospreay match right now are my 1A, 1B for match of the year. Swerve Ospreay, while not a Forbidden Door match because it's two guys that are under AEW contract, is one of the top 2 matches of the year that we've seen. And this is 5 stars all the way. These are 2 guys that are just at the top of their game. Will Ospreay, I've said for years, the only reason Will Ospreay is not the best wrestler on the planet is because Bryan Danielson exists. But Ospreay is right there at this point with me. And anytime he's in the ring, especially in a big match situation like this, he's going to deliver. This match delivered. You had amazing athleticism. They told an amazing story. The Swerve hidden blade to Ospreay was possibly one of the sickest moments I think I've ever seen. And of course, it's Ospreay's move, so he's going to know how to sell it. And then you have some great story that you're going to build off of this match. You have the thing with Don Callis. You had, for some reason, I don't know how Daniel Garcia couldn't get a better seat but the 300 section, but maybe that was all they had.
You're telling me AEW couldn't get him a better seat? My goodness, man. He was up there in the nosebleeds.
couldn't put him in a luxury box? Couldn't get him some drinks and some popcorn? He was up there in the nosebleeds, man. Trying to pull off that Sting motif, and then you had Max watching on a monitor. So you're building stories with all of these guys. And for people who say one of the things you always hear, AEW doesn't tell stories. AEW doesn't tell stories. There's a lot. They told multiple stories in this match, and
they did.
Along with that, had a match of the year contender. So no, 5-star main event for me all the way.
I agree with everything you said there, Regal. I think when we look back, whenever Swerve's reign ends, this will be the match that everybody talks about. This is his match of his reign. I don't think he can go out there and have a better match. This match was that good. Like you said, it's right behind Danielson Ospreay. Of course, Ospreay's in this match. Yeah, the only reason why Will Ospreay's not the best wrestler on the planet because Bryan Danielson's still around. Not much longer. He's going to be retiring actively this year, so Ospreay maybe takes over that title. Quotes, retire wrestling. I know. It's a loose term. It's a loose term. These guys told a magnificent story. I think the shocker was people, I'm not lumping us all into one group, but wrestling fans as a whole, people thought All In, Wembley, Ospreay's going to be main eventing. Ospreay has to be champion. And what they did, they went out there and went against that. And there's a story going around. I know you shared it in our chat this morning, Regal, a chat that you have with Wizard myself, about how Will Ospreay wanted to make a point. He didn't want to be the placeholder for the main event and All In. He wanted to go out there and show the locker room, I guess, what you can do when you're professional and you work well with somebody else. I think he also, the thing I take away most from this story is, hey, if I'm willing to lose, you should be willing to lose too, to Swerve. So I think a lot is to be said about the maturity of Will Ospreay, and whether or not he's trying to be a locker room leader, I don't know. But this is a pretty good example of some maturity in wrestling and how when everybody works together, we can all get along and good things happen.
Agreed. The question, though, that comes to my mind, we're talking about everybody, all the wrestling pundits, all the wrestling fans are looking at All In and thinking, well, that's got to be Ospreay's crowning moment where he wins the title. Where do you put it? Where does he fall on the card, and who does he face at All In?
I think we're going with the international title because here's the thing. I'm going to say it. old school philosophy. The money is in the chase, and I think you have a much better story to tell if you go long term. Here's the thing: Ospreay's going to be on the card. You're going to get Swerve versus the winner of the tournament, which I'll say I think somebody's going to come riding in on a horse for that one.
Say that again.
I think somebody's going to come riding in on a horse here real quick for that one.
Don't say that. I don't. That's what I don't want to happen. That's what I don't want to happen. It got brought up at my watch party the other night when we watched it here at the Highview Lounge about who's going to win the Owen Hart and who's going to face Swerve at All In. And I'm going to vomit. I'm going to vomit because I don't want that to happen.
I think it's going to happen, Nick. I think it's going to be the Hangman.
Why?
As soon as the Bucks said they were picking the guy, I'm like, yep, it's Hangman coming back as a member of the Elite with a full-scale heel turn. And you do him and Swerve in the rematch at Wembley. You do I spitballed today, possibly something coming out of Wednesday where it turns into a triple threat match with Garcia, Max, and Ospreay. Because that's a big money thing to get Ospreay and MJF, because I think because they've already announced the Ospreay and Daniel Garcia. I think Will gets added after the results of this and gets turned into a triple threat for the international title. Okay. And like I said, you can use that. I'm excited to
talk about this show, and now I can't freaking stop thinking about Hangman freaking headlining All In, dude. I don't want it. See, I can't be the only one that's this way. I can't be the only one that feels this way.
See, I'm a Hangman guy, so we're gonna disagree on this one. But I do think, like I said, money's in the chase, and you can tell a full year story, possibly winning the Continental Classic, doing all this stuff, where Will eventually builds up, and then next year Will comes out right as soon as they announce the Owen and says, I'm in the Owen. It's my time. I'm going to Wembley to win the belt. And whether it's Max, Hangman, Swerve, whoever, Will can win the belt in 2025 at Wembley.
I know there's money in the chase. I get that philosophy. But I'm going to throw this one to you. I also think they're wasting Ospreay for a year. You sign this big name free agent, and instead of having him on the top of your company, you're going to have him chase. There's a bunch of what ifs can happen. What if he gets hurt and he never gets to the top, never has that chance? Then I think they're blowing an opportunity. I get what you're saying about money in the chase, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Why not make him the champion at All In?
Like we said, though, I think there's a bigger thing also with Will. I think he wants to be a locker room leader. And like you said, he kind of went and said, hey, let me make Swerve's title reign and show this locker room how it's supposed to be done when we work together. Because as we all know, and if you know where to look, it's out there that there's some people in that locker room who have the that doesn't work for me, brother, kind of mentality going around in that locker room. And I think Will came in and said, I'm not going to be that guy, and I'm going to show everybody, how it's supposed to be done, that we work together and we build this company. And I think that's where Will is at. Will is there to make the company better. And here's the thing. Ospreay to me is almost to the point where, like Brian, or somebody like that, he doesn't necessarily need the belt to be a top guy. Guys like that who will get that audience reaction necessarily don't need the world title. Now, you give him the world title at some point, but I think you have him build a much longer-term story to it. That's where I think they're going.
Can I tell you why I don't like the Hangman Page recommendation? Here's why. I got a reason why I don't like it. I just can't see Hangman falling in line with the Elite after what they did to Kenny. To me, I would think that'd be against his character, against his own persona, and that he would be out to get the Elite when he comes back instead of wanting to join them.
My thing is he hates Swerve that much that even though he might not necessarily like what they did to Kenny, he's coming after Swerve because he hates Swerve. because Swerve literally, people forget, Swerve's a babyface now, but a few months ago, not long ago, Swerve invaded Hangman's home, okay? So there is still that. That's a little bit over everything.
If I can make a counterpoint, though, has Swerve not beaten Hangman 3 times already?
Exactly.